Hello everyone, I'm that guy, and we need to have a little chinwag. There are some changes coming to the channel that I want to tell you about. You may have heard me mention in previous episodes that I was laid off back in April. The tech industry is just going through some tough times right now, and I'm sure you've read about layoffs happening industry-wide. I mean, not a week goes by where I don't read about someone like Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, EA, Blizzard, one of those giant tech companies laying off people. Well, this isn't my term, but I do like to call this indulging in mass layoffs. If you're a fan of Stephanie Sterling, you're gonna know what I'm talking about here. I have a lot of opinions about this. Anyway, I was lucky enough to have qualified for unemployment insurance and SNAP, which are food stamp benefits, so I haven't had to dip too far into my savings. Mercifully, I did have a fair amount of money saved up when I got laid off. Unfortunately, though, my unemployment benefits have run out, and now I am relying entirely on savings. Back in April, I had a dream that I could make a living as a YouTube creator. I figured if I worked at it basically all day, every day, I could become a big-time YouTuber before I ran out of money. While the channel has grown by leaps and bounds, we're still a long way away from even basic monetization. I still have a lot to learn about being a successful YouTube creator, and if I'm being honest, my content is just not good enough to attract the sort of crowd that would enable me to do this full-time. You could say I'm still finding my voice here. Turns out entertaining people isn't easy, and it requires some actual talent. Now that we've covered the history, here's the current situation. At the time of writing, this channel has just over 180 subscribers. YouTube requires 1,000 subscribers for basic monetization. That means we're nearly 20% of the way, but it also means we've got 80% of the way to go. On Patreon, we currently have one member pledged at the $5 a month level, and one member pledged at about the $2 a month level. Big shout out to both Krrk and TheBonkMaster for their generous support. I also want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by for every video. You, the viewers, make this worthwhile. If hundreds of you weren't clicking, I wouldn't be making videos, so thank you very much. So, I mentioned I have some money in savings, but unfortunately that is not enough to keep me housed and fed until this channel is successful. This has led me to a frantic job search that has only intensified as my unemployment benefits have come to an end. Now that my unemployment benefits have expired, I need to find work. My search came to a head last week, and I have accepted an offer for full-time employment returning to a career in information technology. My new job will be a lot of work, and I'm going to have to spend a lot of time outside of work studying for industry certifications. Finally, we have come to the most important part. What is going to change, and what are our plans for the future? Let me first say that this channel is not going away. You can still depend on me for all of your awkward gaming nerd needs. However, I'm going to need to scale back the operation a bit. There's simply not enough hours in the day to work full-time, study for certs, and produce 3 videos a week. So for now, we are cutting back to 1 video a week released every Friday. Once I get over this onboarding phase and really settle into my new role, I will reevaluate this schedule. I would like to produce 2 videos a week, but that may not be possible. We're just going to have to play that by ear. Now, on to future plans. Our current channel goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. You've heard me mention that in plenty of videos before. To reach this goal, I will continue improving the overall quality of our videos. Specifically, I will be focusing on improving voice work, video editing, thumbnails, and titles. Our next major goals will be to acquire our first sponsor and to reach $100 per month pledged on Patreon. Being a successful YouTuber is not going to happen through basic monetization. Sponsors and patrons enable your favorite YouTube creators to not just survive but thrive on this platform. To obtain our first sponsor, we will need to grow the channel and keep our content appropriate for all ages. That means no gratuitous violence, sexuality, or swearing. To reach $100 a month on Patreon, I will find some real incentives for our supporters. This may include bonus videos and behind-the-scenes featurettes. I would also like to get far enough ahead to release videos early on Patreon. My final stretch goal is to make this channel a full-time career with an editor and a graphic artist. To do this, we're going to need at least 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, $3,000 per month pledged in Patreon, and one modest sponsor per week. I think with these in place, we should have the sort of funding we need for me to live a modest lifestyle, as well as some left over to hire an editor and a graphic artist. So that is the most important part of this whole thing. I just wanted to let you all know what was happening and what we're going to have to do moving forward. You may notice there's a fair bit of runtime left on this video, so if you just came here for the channel announcement, that's what you got. You can tune out now. But if you are interested, I want to close by talking a bit about my thoughts on a concept called universal basic income. As I mentioned before, the tech industry is in a bad place right now. I thought my job was secure, but that was just not the case. However, when I was laid off, I did make sure I was going to qualify for unemployment assistance. In the US, this program is an insurance scheme run by a tax on payroll. It is up to the individual states to fund their system and set rules for collecting benefits. I live in North Carolina where the benefits are pretty limited. I was receiving the maximum payout of $315 per week for 12 weeks. I've also received SNAP or food stamp benefits totaling around $50 per week. With this basic income and the money I had saved, I've been able to make ends meet for the last 3 months. With my benefits expiring, I've been thinking a lot about the concept of universal basic income. As soon as I was no longer working a 9-to-5 job but was still taken care of at a basic level, the first thing I decided to do was create something. Sure, my videos are rough, boring, crude, but it's something that I made. Something that I can point to and say, I made that not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Now, I'm not an especially creative person. Can't sing, can't dance, can't draw, and I seem to have been born with a total lack of a sense of style. These silly little gaming videos have been a fantastic way for me to express myself creatively in a way that I am most comfortable and familiar with. This has led me to wonder just how many people out there would also create amazing things if they weren't trapped in an endless cycle of working, trying to relax, trying to sleep, and then back to working. What if we broke that cycle and offered everyone a basic standard of living? What if you didn't have to choose between starving to death or working yourself to death? What if you could just choose to wipe tables at a bar because you wanted to talk to people? What if you could choose to make videos about your favorite game just because you wanted to share your excitement with the world? What if you didn't have to worry about where your next rent payment or meal came from? Well, this would all be possible with comprehensive universal basic income. Now, I'm not the first person to bang the UBI drum. This certainly isn't my idea, and it's far from new. There's a lot of people out there that have made much more nuanced and well-researched arguments. I'm just offering my thoughts and feelings after spending 3 months on unemployment. First, I want to put some things in perspective. Unemployment benefits where I live top out at $315 per week, or around $1,200 a month on average. This was not enough to cover all of my bills. I'm one of the lucky ones that was able to score a good mortgage on a small town home right before the housing market went absolutely crazy. However, my mortgage and car payments together were more than I was getting from unemployment benefits. That's not to say that I couldn't have downgraded my lifestyle a bit to make that money go farther, but I have savings to fall back on. Needless to say, $1,200 a month is simply not enough for a luxurious lifestyle. But with subsidized housing, SNAP, and Medicare, you can just get by. So what if we offered this benefit to everyone, regardless of means? This is the idea of universal basic income. It's a weekly benefit deposited directly into your bank account just for being a citizen. Everyone is enrolled in a national healthcare system that tasks the healthcare providers, such as doctors, hospitals, drug companies, etc., with providing a basic level of care to ensure a happy and productive citizenry. Similarly, everyone receives a basic nutrition benefit where the government negotiates with food producers to ensure citizens are provided with fresh, healthy, and nutritious, if not luxurious, food with focus on local production. Now, we already have mechanisms in place for basically all of these. We just need to expand them. The government already direct deposits your tax return and any tax rebates that may be issued in emergencies. Think the COVID benefits that we all got. That $1,600 that you got during COVID, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. The government knows your bank account number. They just have to put money there. Medicare is already the largest healthcare provider in the United States, and there's no reason it couldn't be expanded to just cover everyone. Finally, the SNAP program is available in some form or another nationwide. Now, some of you may not realize that you can use your SNAP benefits at farmers markets, at least around here. Doesn't get any more local than a farmer's market. Better still, many places offer bonus money towards your purchases. Here in North Carolina, there's a program to double your SNAP dollars at select farmers markets. Suddenly, that $8 carton of eggs, that $6 head of lettuce, or that $8 loaf of bread are a lot more affordable. A similar program could be rolled out nationwide to offer SNAP recipients an opportunity to eat healthy, local foods that have vastly smaller carbon footprints than the massive factory farms turning out bland, tasteless crap year-round. I'm looking at you, strawberries. In the system, you would work how and where you want. If you want to paint a picture, sing a song, or just tell people how awesome you are, you can do that without worrying about having a roof over your head and a full belly. Your basic needs are covered. However, if you want to live a luxurious lifestyle, that option is still available to you under Universal Basic Income. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from studying hard. Did I mention that education is also covered under this plan? Working hard and becoming monetarily successful. If you want to spend your days trading stocks to get to the top score on Robinhood, go for it. If you want to live in a 100-room mansion, that is still possible under UBI. No one is preventing you from living the American dream. Think of UBI as a tide rising for all boats. You can still have your big fancy yacht, but the folks in the little boats are still able to live a happy, healthy life. Now, you're probably asking, how are we going to pay for all of this? Turns out we already have the mechanisms in place for this too. The biggest source of funding for Universal Basic Income will come from the same place the government gets all of its other money from: taxes. Under this system, any money you make outside of UBI is taxed progressively, similar to how things are done now. Citizens are divided into tax brackets that increase proportionally to income. If you are depending just on UBI, you effectively pay zero taxes. As you earn money outside of UBI, you're taxed starting at a low percentage, say 2%, increasing to a maximum, say 50% when you earn enough, say $1 million. These actual numbers aren't important here. I'm not qualified to speak with authority on these, much less create comprehensive tax policies. That's not my job. I'm an IT nerd. Under the system, though, taxes for the wealthy would go up, and taxes for the poor would effectively disappear. Now, this isn't as big of a hit to the tax revenue as you might be thinking. Because everyone receives the same basic benefit, this program would effectively eliminate the bureaucracy involved in deciding who will receive benefits and how much they will receive. Everyone will just get a straight deposit in their accounts every month. My system also proposes a flat tax on all income. Doesn't matter if that income comes from borrowing against your stocks, a paycheck, or your family trust fund. Income would be determined by finding the difference between the amount of money you start the year with and the amount of money you end the year with. Again, the government already knows all of this, and we just need to tweak how we collect taxes. The majority of the tax burden has always rested on the lower classes: income tax, sales tax, payroll tax, vehicle tax, hell, even excise tax. These all account for a very large proportion of working class income. These also come with significant bureaucratic overhead to determine who has to pay what kind of taxes, when, and how. Instead, if we simply instituted a flat, across-the-board income tax, the rich would finally be paying their fair share, and the resources that used to go into bureaucracy could go into actual benefits. Now, I want to stress that Universal Basic Income would require no major changes to our current systems. just tweaking what we have already so they work more effectively. For most of us, we would end up with more money in our pockets every month. For many, it would mean they are no longer at risk of freezing or starving to death. For the rich, they would still be rich, they would just be a little bit less rich. Now, I'm not an economist. I've not done the math. These are just some of my thoughts and opinions after spending 3 months on some kind of universal basic income. This probably wouldn't work. There are probably many pitfalls in my plan here. But the only way that we are going to make progress as a society and improve the livelihoods of everyone, not just the people at the top, the only way this is going to happen is with a vast rethinking of how we collect and distribute money as a civilization. But that's just my opinion, man. So down in the comments, tell me what you think. I certainly want to hear your feedback on the plan for the channel going forward. I'm sure most of you have tuned out at this point, so it's not really gonna matter what I say here. I want to thank each and every one of the people that tuned into this video for your support. You are the reason I keep making these videos, and I fucking love you guys. You are the best. Keep tuning in, keep coming back here, and I'm gonna keep making videos for you. We may slow down a little bit, but it's gonna keep happening. So I've been that guy. This has been a little rant, and we'll catch you back here for the next video. Take it easy, guys.